Good evening.
Evening.
Welcome to the Monday, February 24th, 2020 meeting of the Durham County Board of Commissioners. The time is now 7:00 p.m. I will now share the public charge. The Board of Commissioners asks its members and citizens to conduct themselves in a respectful, courteous manner, both with the board and fellow citizens. At any time, should any member of the board or any citizen fail to observe this public charge, the chair will ask the offending person to leave the meeting until that individual regains personal control. Should decorum fail to be restored, the chair will recess the meeting until such time that a genuine commitment to the public charge is observed. As a courtesy to others, please turn off cell phones during the meeting. And I will now ask that we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next item on our agenda is adjustments to the agenda, and I would like to consideration of a motion for our board to add to the item immediately following agenda adjustments, consideration of entering into closed session.
I would so move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Reckow, seconded by Commissioner Hill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And we will just add that item to agenda adjustments. I will now ask the board.
Excuse me just a second.
Yes.
Is there some information about?
It's a closed session. I'm going to read the, we just added a closed session immediately following our agenda adjustments. And I'm going to read the motion to adjourn into closed session for us to consider.
We have some adjustments made before we go into closed session, or are we going into closed session before
We have to vote on it first. We just voted to add it to the agenda, and now I'm going to entertain the motion to adjourn into closed session.
I guess I'm not understanding. We're moving into closed session before we do adjustments. Are we moving into closed session and then coming back into adjustments?
Do you have another agenda adjustment? Do you have another agenda adjustment?
Yes, I have two.
Okay.
So one is public comment. That's one. And then the other one is regarding the tax information for citizens. I've gotten a communication about tax and want our tax administrator to have a conversation about that. So those were the two things I wanted to add.
Can you clarify what you mean about tax administrator?
Our tax administrator to talk about what citizens can do in relations to their taxes on their houses. What option do they have? So if we could have him clarify that.
Okay, well, we have an item on our agenda related to
We have
taxes on the
Yeah,
on the consent agenda.
we have an item
About tax
regarding
releases and refunds and also tax liens, so we could have him address concerns during that time.
well, as long as we get it addressed. That this item is not on the agenda, so that's why I said add it
Okay,
as an
okay.
adjustment.
So we could just do that during those two items.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so there is a motion, there is a request to add an item related to public comment.
Second.
Okay, so moved by Commissioner Howerton, seconded by Commissioner Hill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So that item we can put immediately after closed session item.
I just, do you know what the nature of the public comment is about?
Well, the citizens are here, they want to speak to the board, and this is our community. We need to hear them.
Should we go into,
Closed session first?
no, I would prefer to have comments first and then go to closed session.
I think
Fine.
that might be.
That's fine with me.
Okay, so we can rearrange the agenda for that, public comment, and then, so can I have a motion then, because we did that backwards.
So sorry.
So why don't you make a motion for
I'd
that?
like to move that we have public comment first, and after public comment, we would move to closed session.
Okay, so I would ask that people who would like to make public comment, if they could please sign up to speak.
Did you get a showing of hands?
Okay, how many people, because then we can determine the time allotted for that. Okay, 1, 2, 3,
It's not that
4,
many.
5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then we also have people sign up to speak on another item, but I didn't know if were these signed, was this for this item or a different item? These comments are for this item as well? Okay. Maybe what we could do is just change the item number on here, and we could start with these people and then let other people have time to sign up.
With 2 minutes.
Announcements first?
Okay, so if people could come over to approach the clerk to get sign-up sheets, and since we're just adding this at the last minute, we'll let people have 2 minutes each to speak. And I'll start with the names that I have here, okay? We're just changing the agenda item to public comment on these sheets. Okay. Okay, when I call your name, if you would just state your name and address, and you would have two minutes to speak. And first I have Antonio Jones, and after that, Dr. Dwight Perry.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Antonio Jones, 3002 Cardinal Lake Drive, Durham, and I rise in support of the truth. I'm not here to conflate issues on contract extensions, timing, political motivations, nor school funding. I am concerned that a county employee has made a serious claim against this governing body and is not being taken seriously. The county manager, I don't think I can call this title, but an employee of high stature, the highest ranking county employee, has a right to due process, and this board has an obligation to conduct a third-party investigation that will substantiate or refute his claim. We are calling for an independent investigation and response to this formal request by the close of business on February 28, 2020. But let me be clear about this matter. We are well aware of the history of a white woman and a black man and allegations. Most importantly, as a professional black man who has worked in corporate America, Durham Public Schools, and higher education, I have experienced microaggressions in the workplace, and I think many black men in this room have also. So let me state the record, for the record. We all have seen the public disrespect of an African-American male that was not treated in the same manner as the former county manager. You don't have to believe me. I encourage you to watch any of the public videos or request public documents. And for the elected official, Commissioner Carter, I would recommend that you be the first to vote in favor of a third-party investigation, because we can no longer hide behind buzzwords like diversity, inclusion, equity, or white privilege. What we see here are some of the same tactics that are being used across the political landscape across America. Durham, we are better than this. When we see an injustice, we need to call it out, because all county employees or do a right to due process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Dwight Perry, followed by Carl Kenny.
Thank you. I'm Dwight Perry, 2207 Vintage Hill Drive, Durham, North Carolina, 27712. To the Board of County Commissioners, I stand tonight in regard to the present controversy related to a letter that County Manager Wendell Davis has addressed to County Commissioner Heidi Carter, alleging that there have been acts of bias that have demonstrated disrespect to him and other county governmental employees of color. The matter at hand is not about whether or not the county manager will retain his job, his record of stellar management and leadership for county business that is documented in professional approbation, audit, and customer feedback, and his effective work with business, civic, and governmental leaders, resulting in record growth, job growth, and investment, all speak for themselves. No, this matter is about the content of the letter that Mr. Davis addressed to Mrs. Carter, and is the matter that needs to receive the attention of this board. That a county manager of Mr. Davis's professional standing was compelled to address the concerns included in the letter requires that this board address the apparent problem. Actions that are biased and or disrespectful toward a category of people in our county government are below the standards of Durham County. If actions are in actuality only perceived as biased or disrespectful and are not intended as biased or disrespectful, then the matter still needs correction. An atmosphere that is intimidating, demeaning, and belittling has no place in Durham County government. Therefore, I implore the Durham County Board of Commissioners, for the good of government and community, to address the matter at hand. Thank you for allowing me time to speak.
Thank you. After Carl Kenny, Joshua Gunn.
I stand as a black man who understands the consequences of being a black man who stands up and speaks. It's critical in this highly contentious local and national politicized season that we pause to hear one another. And critical listening has become less of an art as the will to win at all costs, and it replaces a desire to be a blessed, beloved community. Once upon a time, not too long ago, Durham was called the black sheep of the state of North Carolina after a series of fights among members of the then recently merged school board. For the people in this room who remember those days, we prayed we would never revisit divide, labeling Durham the laughingstock of the state of North Carolina. But the clock has been turned back. We have to pause and listen to how it feels when responses to our county manager's letter concludes, "Black people lie." The claims can't be real, must be juxtaposed against a historical context in which white innocence disqualifies black pain. The insensitive reactions of what Manager Davis names as his pain is lost in the will to win. Your lack of response to the pain can never be dismissed. Black pain in the hands of mean-spirited words, no matter the intent, can't be cast out due to the testimony of people honoring the good deeds of a white person. You should never disrespect or discredit the claims of a hurting person. That's the game Republicans play in D.C. to maintain the authority of a power-crazed president. And yes, that is my judgment rooted in the feelings, about the perceptions of critical. I'll just move forward. While forgetting the many dangers, toils, and
I
snares.
just need you to wrap it up, please.
Well, I just want you to know that the dangers of forgetting, while forgetting the many dangers, that the implications of what has happened are mind-boggling. To imply the son of a sharecropper doesn't support education. To imply a black man who graduated from an HBU has forgotten where he came from. To apply your goodness your goodness is more valid than the lifetime of struggles. To sit at the table, to imply what you heard was imagination. To imply there's no need to listen. To imply you love black people is enough to eradicate what black person feels. The injustice in your silence, the injustice is.
Mr. Kenny, do you want to submit your comments? That would, if you want to, but
Well, we refuse to shut up. We refuse to quit. We refuse to bow to your assumed power, and we refuse to go away, and we will not be moved. As a witness to the power of faith, I pray you will listen to the rage of a black pain, because that pain is what inspires black mobilization.
thank you. Joshua Gunn, and followed by Omar Beasley.
Good evening, Board of County Commissioners. Good evening, County Manager Davis, county staff, and the people of Durham. I rise today in support of justice. I rise because I love Durham. And I believe that every single day, Durham has an option to live into our values or to convince ourselves that we're living by those values and ignore the pleas of a black man when he says he feels discriminated against. For too long, black people have felt that they couldn't speak up against their employers or against their bosses or against the people in power for fear of retaliation. I'll tell you this, black people don't make up racism. When we feel it, it's real. No different than a woman who says she's being assaulted or attacked doesn't make that up. We have an entire movement in this community to believe women. I stand here today to tell you to believe black people when they tell you they feel discriminated against. But I mainly stand here to employ our county commissioners to be who you say you are. Be who we claim to be. If we truly are a community that believes in diversity, equity, and inclusion, we cannot afford to dismiss the claims of our county manager, who has an exemplary record in this community. 7 years of perfect audits as a county manager. Exemplary record in doing his job. This isn't about who's right or who's wrong or bad people versus good people. This is about justice and doing what's right. So I stand here with the people of Durham asking you to request an external objective investigation into the claims of County Manager Davis, simply because I don't want to live in a community that dismisses claims of racism. I don't want to live in a community that tolerates racism. And I believe Durham is better than that. And I believe in you all, and I have a great deal of respect for your office. I believe that you will do the right thing, and that right thing is requesting an investigation and no longer trying to silence the voice of marginalized people, specifically black people in this amazing black city of Durham. Thank you.
Thank you. Omar Beasley, followed by Edward Bell.
Good evening, County Commissioners and County Manager and staff in Durham. Elected officials should set a positive, progressive agenda and not permit or contribute to a culture of racism in our government at all levels. We of the Durham Committee on Affairs of Black People call for a swift, fair, and impartial investigation of the recent concerns raised by County Manager Wendell Davis, accusing Durham County Commissioner Heidi Carter of exhibiting behaviors toward him and other African-American employees and guests of what many in this room would consider to be racist and inherent bias towards African-Americans. A recent article in the Indy Weekly draws attention to a letter written by Mr. Davis directly to Commissioner Carter, in which he outlines some detailed behaviors exhibited by Ms. Carter, Commissioner Carter. And I won't go into details of what they were, but in that letter, he talks about a comment: you work for the board. When we tell you to do something, you grin and bear it. Many in this room understand what that means in the context of what it comes from. It comes from racism, slavery, Jim Crow, and white supremacy. Words matter. Commissioner Carter, words matter. They can either unite all of us, or they can be like a sickle, cutting and dividing like-minded individuals into factions. Your words have done that. We stand together, everyone in this room, we're calling for you all to have an investigation into these claims. Do not stand in silence, because silence is complicit. Silence is complicit. Do the right thing.
Thank you. Edward Bell, and are there some other sheets after this? Okay, Mr. Bell?
Yes.
That it?
I'm Edward Bell, Edward G. Bell, 212 Loblolly Drive, Durham, North Carolina. I'm also a former New Bernard citizen during the segregated period of time. Separate schools, unequal. But at the same time, when you indicate that an outstanding county commissioner over the years who has done everything that he could to build this county and this city into a very acceptable place to live for all individuals. And then to denigrate him by saying that he, is not qualified to do what he is doing, by telling him that he must do exactly what she tells him to do. That's not America. That's not this contemporary America in terms of where one feels that he or she is better than another person or can supersede them when they are not in the position that he happened to command at this time. And he has done it in an exemplary manner. So at this time, I think there's a censorship that needs to be done through the commission to eradicate this evil, racist comment toward our outstanding county manager. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Bell, I'm sorry, I was a little distracted. I didn't know if you had stated your address. You did, okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, I apologize.
212.
That's fine. Everyone said you did it, so no problem. Thank you. And I'm sorry, there are not numbers on the rest of the comment sheet, so I'm just going to go in the order that I have them. Next, we have Jackie Wagstaff, and next, after that, Andrea Muffin Hudson.
Good evening. I stand here in solidarity of the county manager, but I'm one of the few people in this room that have experienced the wrath of this lady. I sat on the school board with her for 4 years. So I don't come to you from a perspective where I'm on the outside looking in. I was on the inside. I sat, those same comments that Mr. Davis put in his letter, I heard those comments repeated to my son. I think there's a late girl in this room named Jasmine Brown. She was one of those people that was in the struggle with us years ago at the school board. Now, unlike Mr. Gunn, I don't believe you're going to do the right thing. I believe that we're going to ask, but it's still 3 of you up there, and you'll make the majority. And I do not believe that you're going to open up an investigation that's fair to this manager. But understand that the Black lives in Durham, we do matter, and we're not going to stand for it. And unlike, like I said, the rest of you, I've had personal experience. And if you don't believe me, I always tell you about the receipts. Go back and look at the minutes. And the documentation is there. You can look at every vote that was taken. It was taken down racial lines. You voted against the all-male school for our African-American boys to improve their academic achievement. You voted against it for no reason other than you had the majority of white women. This is not to be tolerated anymore. And like I said, I come to you from the side of experience. I experienced this. So I understand exactly what Mr. Davis has written, and I wish I had written it first.
Thank you. Ms. Wagstaff, I'm sorry, did you state your address when you did? Okay, Durham? Okay. Okay. Andrea Muffin Hudson.
Andrea Hudson, everybody calls me Muffin, 322 Junction Road. I stand here in solidarity with the community of Durham, with the city manager, and as a wife, a mother, a sister, a niece, an aunt of young black men. What I do know is that when Ms. Bryant said that Mr. Till whistled at her, there was swift justice. There was no outside investigation done. His life was just taken from him, right? We know what happened in Rosewood when a white woman accused a black man of doing something, the whole town was leveled. So here we have a black man making a statement of what he has felt, and we have to make sure that we know that his feelings are valid, that what he felt is valid. It's all about perception. What he perceived as being racially biased towards him, then that's what we have to stand on. So if you don't do an outside investigation, basically what you're saying is that you're going to let white supremacy reign in this county commission. And if that is the case, we know that you're using black bodies at those polls to push your agenda. And the fact that we know that that's what's happening. We are being used as pawns because you know the black vote counts, and that's why you have black folks handing out your literature and your palm cards, because you know that we matter. So if you don't acknowledge that Mr. Wendell matters in this situation, there'll be another election.
Thank you. Jarvis Martin, followed by Brian Calloway.
My name is Jarvis Martin. I reside at 3608 Mossdale Avenue here in Durham. Good evening to members of the county commissioners, the county staff, and citizens of Durham. I realize that much of what I want to say has already been said, and I would just basically like to say that I want us to keep in mind as we deliberate this issue and try to resolve it, to keep in mind that we have reached a place in Durham where I want to say to all that we should be better than this. I have spent my entire adult life here in Durham, almost 50 years, and a lot of what people have said about how Durham was viewed in this community in many years, we have moved beyond that. And we've moved beyond that because of people like Wendell Davis and other people who are sitting in this audience who have worked to improve the conditions racially, economically in this community. We still have things to work through, and we only gonna get through it if we work through them together. And we believe that with people like Wendell Davis working with you all, that we are always rated in some high position with some kind of business magazine, and that just didn't happen. It's just not circumstance. So we have employees who feel that they are being mistreated. We can't go out here and talk about we are a community of diversity and inclusion when we want to take the people who are here and then try to treat them less than the professionals that they are. As a person, again, who have worked in this community, who have ran a business in this community for years, I have seen the divisiveness that exists from time to time. And I would like to think that we have come to a point that we can move to a position that we are beyond that. But incidents like this remind all of us that maybe we have not come as far as many of us would wish. So I will leave you again in saying that Durham, we are better than this.
Thank you, Brian Calloway, and then the final comments, E.L. Allison.
Good evening, Board. My name is Brian Calloway of 307 Gresham Avenue in Northgate Park. I feel like this is a Brett Kavanaugh moment in Durham. it's disturbing to see. I'm a very process-oriented individual, and it is very disturbing to see the person bringing forward accusations being attacked and very viciously attacked, I might add, and that supporters of the ones who are accused are saying that the timing is the thing we should focus on. This is politically motivated. I mean, when else is a better time than now? The community is making a very important decision. We need a swift and objective, outside, just has been requested, investigation into these matters. This is unprecedented. I've never seen an executive bravely bring forward statements like this, and it's really disturbing to see what is happening within our community around this, though. We even have associations that have spoken about removing their endorsements of some of the candidates, not of the ones accused of behaviors that are very troubling, but of ones who have stood to make statements that they believe the accuser. So, I know, our state motto is esse quam videre, to be rather than to seem. And it's time that Durham is about being, and that we open up these investigations, that we believe women, that we believe black voices. And so I stand in solidarity with the speakers before in making a call for an investigation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Allison?
May I have those books, please? Thank you. Thank you very much. I am so pleased to see all these people here tonight because someone called me on last Thursday, and I immediately, after they called me, told me what was going on. Then I immediately called 919-383-3883. That's a number that I've been calling sometime to ask for some help when we've been doing some things wrong. She knows whose meeting that is, telephone number. Then I called Wendy Jacobs because I said something is going wrong. They said, well, it's going to be in the paper tomorrow. I hadn't heard about it. But then after I read that paper, that it said, racism clouds feud on county board. And on the second page, Blessed Pratt, they quoted me. It said, Lavonia Allison, former chair of the Durham Committee on the Affairs of Black People, described the vote as racial. That's when they were trying to hire the county manager. They carried him through some hoops, honey. We're going to investigate what she said, the one over there that finished out that Duke. She's got 2 masters and so forth and so on, but she doesn't know anything about it. Racism is through every thread of everything that makes a quality of life in the United States, whether it's housing, whether it's education, whether it's anything to improve the quality of life. But the sad part about it, there are a whole lot of people that know when they're racist. But I brought some books tonight. I want the person who's got a master's in studying bones and stuff from out there at Duke, biology and chemistry and so forth and so on. This was because I've talked to her privately. I even tried to talk to Wendy Jacobs privately about MWBE. We got statues that are arcade now. We're going to have, here's another one, root and branch. We're going to have some study. We're going to put them through some courses, not just to investigate, because they don't even know when they're racist. We got racism all over this South. I'm talking my time. Lastly, I want Ellen to, in fact, have a meeting so we can come by her house and entertain some folk. Ellen, I'm telling you right now, because, see, I know you, and I'm ashamed of you now. I really am. I called your number 20 times, and that's all right.
My Voicemail was out of order. It's fixed now.
Well, I'm going to take an apology if it was out, because I let it ring 20 times.
It really was out of
Then I
order.
called back and let it ring 10 times. Because I don't usually come up because I'm
Excuse me, we are not going to be disrespectful here. Excuse me.
I will
we are
not
go-
apologize for
we're-
my advocacy for Durham Public Schools. I would also say that we all very quietly listened while you spoke. I'd like to have the same opportunity if I could. I will continue to invest in strong public school operations and facilities for the sake of our children's future and to improve the lives of people of color. Working together alongside my colleagues and leaders of color in this community, I will push for investments that fight back against the harmful impacts of racism. Investments in public schools, yes, but also pre-K, investments in affordable housing, access to health care, food security, and reliable frequent bus service. This is the work of building an equitable and inclusive city and county, and it will require all of us working together. Nothing is going to deter me from doing that work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, again, I want to thank everyone for being here and for the comments that people have made, Commissioner Carter, and all of our residents who have spoken. I will now go to the second item that we had added to our agenda, which is that I would entertain that the board be requested to adjourn into closed session for the following: to consider the qualifications, competence, performance, character, fitness, conditions of appointment, or conditions of initial employment of an individual public officer or employee or prospective public officer or employee, or to hear or investigate a complaint, charge, or grievance by or against an individual public officer or employee pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A6.
Madam Chair, I move that we go into closed session for the reasons stated.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Carter, seconded by Commissioner Reckow. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And we are now adjourned into closed session. We're adjourning. We're adjourning. I'm sorry. I'll translate it. We are adjourning into closed session to discuss a. Okay. We're adjourned into closed session. We're going to be back in a few minutes. We'll be back. We will be back in a few minutes. We are going to discuss a confidential personnel matter, and we will be back in a few minutes. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, let me translate. We're going to go to discuss everything that we just heard from everybody. We can't talk about it in open session. It's confidential, personnel related. This is how we can, I'm sorry. Thank you for helping me. Thank you. We are going to just discuss everything we just heard, okay? And we'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you. Okay, thank you, everyone, for waiting patiently. We have taken action in our closed session, and the basic essence of the closed session action was that our board has asked the clerk of the Board of County Commissioners, we've requested that she contact the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners for recommendations for outside counsel, to advise our board, as well as to consult with UNC School of Government and the International City County Management Association to provide information to our board regarding a broad investigation of all issues related to this situation. So the next steps will be for us to basically ask our clerk to move forward with all of those items. Okay? Okay, so that is the action that our board has unanimously taken to pursue. And okay. Excuse me, that's you cannot just call out and speak at our meeting. No, we have had a public comment period, and I ask that you please follow the rules and procedures of our board. Okay, the next, excuse me, I actually want to make a statement here. It really makes me sad. I agree that we are at the situation that we are in now, and I just wish that we had been able to address this in a different way. I acknowledge that our manager has had his feelings hurt, and I feel sorry. I feel very badly about that. I'm sorry. And we will, and that there are a lot of issues related to this, okay? There are a lot of issues, and that's why we are going to get an independent outside counsel to help us acknowledge this. Okay, I'm sorry that we are all here at this time. I'm very sorry. Okay, we are going to have a process. I don't believe that Commissioner Carter meant to make any racist statements. I don't think that was her intent, and I'm sorry. Okay, and I think there are a lot of victims in this situation. I agree. Okay. I'm sorry. That is why we are getting the help of outside counsel to help us navigate an independent process, and our board is committed to that. And we are going to work with the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. We're going to work with the UNC School of Government. We're going to work with the International City County Managers Association. We're going to get expert help and have a neutral party to help us navigate this process as a community. And again, I hope that we will have, that the clerk will come back to us with recommendations for an outside counsel by our next work session, when the next time that our board meets, so that we can move forward with this independent process. Okay, thank you very much for everybody for your support in this process. Okay. And okay, we now
Take a 5-minute recess.
okay, we're now moving on to our announcements, and I want to acknowledge the passing of one of our county commissioners, Joe Bowser. He passed away on Friday, February 14th, 2020, and Commissioner Bowser served 2 terms on the Durham Board of County Commissioners. His first term was served from 1996 until 2004. His second term was served from 2008 until 2012. I want to acknowledge on a personal level that I met Joe Bowser when I was first running for county commissioner. I always found him to be an incredibly kind person. He was a devoted grandfather and devoted to his family, and I'm personally very sad to learn of his passing. I know other commissioners served with Commissioner Bowser. We will have a resolution in his honor at a time when his family has had time to grieve, and that I just wanted to acknowledge the passing of Commissioner Bowser, and I know Commissioner Howerton and also Commissioner Retkow, also our county attorney Lowell Seiler, and our county manager Wendell Davis all had the opportunity also to work with Commissioner Bowser, and I wanted to give them the opportunity to share any comments at this time. Okay. Okay, well, we will recognize Commissioner Bowser's family at some time in the future with a resolution. Okay, our announcements this evening, voting information for the March 3rd, 2020 primary is as follows. Photo IDs are not required for the primary election. The ballot, the absentee by mail voting request deadline is actually tomorrow, February 25th, and they need to be returned to the Board of Elections by Tuesday, March 3rd, and early voting is underway until Saturday, February 29th. The Durham Planning Academy is seeking applications right now for spring 2020. And if this is a great way for you to learn about how our planning department works. This is a free interactive 4-week course, begins on Thursday, March 26, 2020. And applications are being accepted until Sunday, March 1st, 2020. The Juvenile Crime Prevention Council is requesting proposals for fiscal year 2020 to 2021. We have $701,101 worth of funding for programs to serve delinquent and at-risk youth. So we ask organizations to please apply for this funding for the deadline of March 31st, 2020. Again, these are for programs that serve delinquent and at-risk youth. You can find out more information at the CJRC website. Also, on our announcements, we'll have information about the applications. We have some really great news, which is the grand reopening of the Bragtown Branch Public Library. This library has sadly been closed for quite a while. It's one of our historic libraries. We had water damage, and we are really glad that this is reopening on March 11th. From 12 to 2, there will be a celebration at 3200 Dearborn Drive, but there are also events that are scheduled starting at 10 a.m. for the reopening of the Bragtown Library. The 2020 Golden Leaf Awards nominations are now being accepted. Do you know of any property that should be recognized for its design, preservation, or curb appeal, or stewardship of the natural and built environment? You can make nominations at the 2020 Golden Leaf Awards, and they are due by 5 o'clock on Tuesday, March 13th. For more information, contact Kayla Seibel, 919-560-4731 at extension 28271. Are there any other announcements this evening? Commissioner Recco.
Madam Chair, members of the board and public, Commissioner Howerton and I attended a wonderful conference in Raleigh today. It was sponsored by Think Babies, North Carolina. And I'm proud to say that Durham shined at that conference. In a morning panel discussion, the Family Connects Durham program, we started that program 20 years ago, it was originally named Durham Connects, was featured by parents who have benefited from that program. And we were commended for being leaders in having nurses visit parents after a new baby is born. There are now 45 communities across the country that have followed our lead. Then, during lunch, Outstanding Baby Advocate Awards were given to 10 individuals and organizations. And I'm proud to say that 4 people affiliated with Durham, 2 people and 2 organizations from Durham received awards. The first, I would like to recognize my fellow commissioner, Commissioner Brenda Howerton. She received an Outstanding Baby Advocate Award for her leadership at the local and state level.
Okay.
Who wrote this up? Under Durham County government, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Excuse me, Dr. Allison. Excuse me.
Yes, and
Okay.
but in fact, it reads what they say her. She won something.
Okay.
That's what.
That you all have stepped over.
Excuse me. Commissioner Recco was. Excuse me.
I had to bring it up.
Okay. Excuse me, Dr. Allison.
I just want us to recognize Brenda because you all
This-
look over her. That's one of the complaints
Excuse me,
that you all don't even.
Dr. Allison. I think that Commissioner Recco was trying to finish.
I will read what's written here. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Commissioner Recco.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Dr. Allison, could you please be respectful and let Commissioner Recco to please continue her.
Okay.
her-
Brenda Howerton is a recipient of the 2020 Outstanding Baby Advocate Award because of her outstanding leadership and advocacy to move the needle for babies and their families, not only in Durham County, but in all 100 counties in North Carolina and beyond. As the president of the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, Brenda launched the 100 Counties Helping Our Children Thrive initiative, which invited counties to find solutions to give all children the essentials to thrive by developing their own plans for innovative programs ranging from prenatal care to early childhood education. In launching this initiative, Ms. Howerton said, "Our children are precious to us. They are everything to me. They are my motivation and my strength. I fought for them all my life, and it's a fight I will continue so that all children can have the chance to thrive." This work has inspired ongoing county teams throughout the state. Brenda Howerton is also recognized for putting the spotlight on babies and families in her work with the Durham County Commissioners. She and her colleagues brought together a group of nonprofits to work with the county government to apply for a Pritzker Community Grant to become a County Pritzker Fellow. In addition, the commissioners have funded a new position that will focus on early childhood and will be housed in cooperative extension. And then it goes on to talk about advocacy, which extends beyond North Carolina's borders. And we did send a proposed resolution to the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference, and talks about the work of our board as a whole. And then it says, "We deeply appreciate Brenda's service on our Think Babies, North Carolina's leadership team from the very beginning, bringing the voice of county commissioners to our work and reminding us to focus on children and families in communities across North Carolina. I also want to highlight a former county commissioner, Representative Marianne Black, also won an award. She was county commissioner in the early 90s on this board, and she won her award for her bipartisan work in the state legislature to help enhance early childhood care throughout the state. The two organizations with Durham affiliations who won awards are the Child Care Services Association, which won an award for their leadership and advocacy on early childhood. And I should point out that they are the entity that this county is using to expand to universal pre-K, and they are highly regarded throughout the state. And the other organization that won an award is Moms Rising for their policy leadership on family-friendly policies such as parental leave. So it was a wonderful conference. I want to again commend our commissioner for her leadership and these other organizations that won. And Brenda, you may want to say a few words.
Thank you, Ellen, and thank you, community. You know, it was such an honor and a privilege to be acknowledged that way. And when I first received the email, it was like, who did this? Who sent this in? And when I found out who it was, it's just, you know, when you start out something as the president of the North Carolina Association of Counties, my initiative was 100 counties and all children thrive. And then you go through your year as a president and you don't think your initiative will continue. And to find out that it is continuing, that the two presidents that have come after me have taken on parts of it, and it's continuing across the state. It is just such an honor to know that you do something that really makes a difference. So, and it's not all about me. The association team, I called them my handlers while I was the president. They did the work. I showed up and helped to implement it, but they were so incredible. And for Durham, to be a commissioner in Durham, and to be able to work to forward Durham's progress, that is what that was about. Because it was being a commissioner here, you could not be the president without being a commissioner. So being Durham's commissioner, I could always also forward Durham's initiatives at the state level. So it was absolutely a pleasure and an honor. And I thank you as a community in support and my board in support of getting that done. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, congratulations, Commissioner Howerton, and thank you for your leadership on this issue. Thank you, Commissioner Reckow, for sharing all that with us.
Okay, you know what I didn't say in my book? The book says the little engine that could. That's my book.
And this is really important work that we're doing in Durham County. We haven't really had a press release about it, but we have launched efforts to have the first early childhood action plan. We want to be the first county in the state to do that, and we've actually signed a contract with the East Durham Children's Initiative to help us execute that. We're making very serious investments in early childhood and the Durham Pre-K program. which Commissioner Recca was mentioning, we've spent over $10 million investing in this program, and it subsidizes the fees or pays free fees for parents, but we're also raising the salaries of the early childhood educators and trying to bring them up to the salaries of Durham public school teachers, because our early childhood educators are some of the lowest paid teachers that we have. So it's a really exciting program, and if you know people who operate daycares, or it's for 4-year-olds who operate their own childhood centers. That's what we're wanting to do. We're wanting to leverage the existing childhood centers that we have in our community. So, for instance, White Rock Baptist Church's Development Center is a part of the program. The Brown Family Development Center is in it. We're trying, if you go on our website, durhamprek.org, you'll see the list of all of the different community pre-Ks that are in it. This is one way we can really support small businesses in our community. So we're trying to spread the word. If you know anyone who might be interested in joining the Durham Pre-K, and again, thank you, Commissioner Reckow and Commissioner Howerton, and also Commissioner Carter have really been involved in helping to lead all of our early childhood efforts.
One other thing, the Pritzker, there's a organization called the Pritzker Foundation. We have applied for a grant for funding to start to work with from prenatal to 3. We're hoping that we get that grant, and that was part of the conversation as well. It's part of Think Babies. It's a national organization, and I'm on that board. So we're hoping we get the money to do that. And what that will do, it's not a large sum of money, but what it will do is put us in the pot to maybe be able to get other grants. So we are working hard for our little ones and for our big ones too. So it's exciting.
Okay. Thank you. We have another ceremony item tonight, and that actually should have been added as the ceremony item, but I'm glad you added that at the last minute. And that is to honor the retirement of Kevin Underhill, who has been our interim EMS director. Kevin, I would ask that you please come forward. Kevin has been with Durham County for 26 years. 26 years. So Kevin, I'm going to read this resolution, and then we would love to hear from you. And I think when you listen to this resolution, it's really remarkable because it's a story of somebody who has really worked their way all the way through Durham County government, from the bottom to the top. Durham Board of County Commissioners resolution honoring Kevin Underhill. Whereas for nearly 26 years, Kevin Underhill has been an integral part of the success of Durham County's Emergency Medical Services Department, and indeed Durham's healthcare continuum. And whereas in 1992, Kevin joined Durham Regional Hospital as an unscheduled part-time EMT paramedic, and in 1994, he became a regular full-time paramedic, and shortly thereafter, a paramedic too. And whereas in 1998, when the emergency medical services function was transferred from Durham Regional Hospital to Durham County government, he quickly demonstrated his professional skills and leadership capabilities, and in 1999, Kevin was promoted to Special Programs Coordinator, while he was responsible for coordinating EMS continuing education, identifying community needs, and managing an enhanced hiring process. And whereas over his tenure, he assumed more challenging positions, including a stint as the Quality Assurance Coordinator, where he was responsible for performance improvement and quality management for each EMS agency and fire department that provides pre-hospital care as a first responder, advanced life support or basic life support transport in Durham County. And whereas Kevin successfully served as a member of the EMS senior management team, which led to his reclassification as Managing EMS Officer 2 to better capture the full scope of his duties for the department. And whereas following the departure of the Director of EMS in March 2019, Kevin was appointed to serve as the Interim Director of EMS, during which time he led the organization with integrity and distinction. And whereas, most notably, Kevin worked with world-renowned cardiologist Dr. Chris Granger at Duke Health to develop what is now the national standard of care for AMI, acute myocardial infarction, patient. Kevin, Dr. Granger, and Dr. Jamie Jolis developed this standard that involves the field transmission of ECG data directly to the cardiologist at the receiving hospital. This also led to transporting patients directly to the cardiac catheterization lab in the hospital, avoiding treatment delays caused by a stop in the ED, and thus saving more lives. And whereas during his illustrative tenure with Durham County EMS, Kevin worked with a variety of peer professionals and leadership roles with numerous organizations, serving as chair for the National EMS Management Association Committee on Accreditation, and as a member of the North Carolina Violent Death Community Advisory Board, to name a few. And whereas Kevin Underhill will long be remembered for his professionalism, enthusiasm, innovation, compassion, and his true abiding concern for the health and well-being of all. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the Durham County Board of Commissioners, do hereby be resolved that we, therefore, be resolved that we do resolve to pay tribute to Kevin Underhill for 26 years of dedicated service to the Durham County government and the citizens of Durham County and beyond. Be it further resolved that we wish him abundant favor, health, and joy upon his well-deserved retirement. This, the 24th day of February 2020, Wendy Jacobs, Chair, James Hill, Vice Chair, Heidi Carter, Brenda Howerton, Ellen Reckow, Commissioners, and on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, we want to say thank you and congratulations. And we'd love to hear a few words from you, Kevin.
Thank you. This is a bittersweet moment for me. I would like to, first of all, thank my family. If I could get my family to stand up for just a moment. Because without your family, there's nothing else. Now, the second part I'd like to do is to ask the members of my department that are with me tonight to stand up. And my previous director to please stand up. That's you. Mickey Tezai, who gave me my opportunity to come to work in Durham County. So, thank you, Mickey. He tells me that all the time. One of the things that I want to say about Mickey is he was also a part of that group that put together the AMI hotline. We actually did that at the Mad Hatter's Cafe, and sat around and figured out that there had to be a better way to take care of our cardiac patients. But tonight, the people that have been standing tonight, without them, I would absolutely not be here. The people that have supported me at home, they have no idea how much I appreciate it. The people that have worked with me over the years deserve all the credit. Nothing that I could do without them. Thank you. As I move forward in my next career or babysitting or whatever I choose to do, which is a nice thing to be able to say, I do want to thank everyone with the county that has given me opportunities throughout my career, because as a paramedic, sometimes we don't always get the opportunities that others do. And I had Dr. Galen Wagner, who was a great mentor for me. Some of you may know Dr. Wagner. Dr. Wagner was a wonderful man, taught me a lot, and I've had a lot of great mentors. Jody has been wonderful, helping me out through the years. Wendell has always been a cheerleader for me, and I appreciate that very much. But at the end, I get to move on, and thank you all for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. Kevin, before you leave, I think people may want to say a few comments. I think that people may want to say a few comments before you, why don't you go back there a minute, because I think people may want to recognize you for a few minutes. I think there are probably some people who want to say a few words.
I'd like to say something.
Yes, okay, Commissioner
I'll
Recchia.
be very brief. Kevin, I want to thank you and your entire department. I noticed the manager arranges yearly for us to have a survey of our citizens related to satisfaction. Actually, we do it jointly with the city. It's a city-county satisfaction survey. And I was really struck this year that EMS was right up at the top as one of the departments with the highest level of satisfaction within county government. And to me, that says a lot, because your staff is dealing with people when they are sick, when they are in car accidents, just can be nightmare situation. And the care that you bring and the attention to people shows in that your department is rated that highly. And I also hear it from when I'm out and about in the community.
I'm very proud.
So we shine because of your great work, and I really want to thank you for so many years of great service to this community.
Thank you.
We overlap, and so I've gotten to know you very well, and I really appreciate your work.
Yes, thank you. Any other comments? Commissioner Howard?
I guess I concur with what Ellen has just said, but I just want to say thank you for your service. Thank you for the commitment that you've been to this community. That it's been much needed, and you improved in so many areas, that things that needed to be improved upon over the years, and just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
And I will just add, I didn't actually even know, Kevin, about how you worked on this whole new procedure where this now the national standard of care for people to already be getting the treatment in the ambulance, so that when they get to the hospital, that's just incredible. I had no idea you were involved with that. And I would say one thing that is missing from here is your community paramedicine program. We now have a community paramedicine program that is trying to address some of the frequent flyers, people who really need, they call 911 because they need other things. and they don't know who else to call, so they call 911. But they really have mental health issues, or they might need help with housing, or they might be a senior citizen that needs in-home health care, but they don't know what else to do except call 911. And so we now have a community paramedicine program, and our community paramedics really work with people to find out what's going on, why do they keep calling 911, what's going on in their lives, what kind of help do they really need, beyond really just getting to the hospital. And it's really been transformative, and so thank you for implementing that program as well. Okay, so there were any other comments? And again, let's congratulate you, and if you'll come forward, thank you.
Thanks, man.
Well, the county attorney has brought to my attention that I skipped our minutes, item number 4, our work session from December 2nd.
Madam Chair, I want to make a comment, and then I'll make a motion to approve. I did contact the clerk because there are directives from the December work session that we really need to get a handle on. So I hope that perhaps we can get a report at the work session next week on the status of those items from the December work session.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to approve.
Okay. Moved by Commissioner Recco, seconded by Commissioner Hill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And the minutes are unanimously approved. Okay, we have our consent and agenda items. There are 2 items that have been pulled, item 0087 and 0079. And then Commissioner Howerton, you had also asked about having the tax administrator address issue related to taxes. Do you want to raise that right now?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. There was a letter from a citizen talking, did I email that to you about how the taxes was going up for over $200 a month?
I've gotten so many emails about taxes going up, you may have, and I recall one similar to that, so it's very likely that you did.
Okay, so the question then is, I know we've been having a conversation about what can be done for citizens when, that are, as far as tax related. And we know that there are 3 programs, but are there anything else that they can do is related to the tax increases?
What we're doing locally is, with every bill that's sent out in July or August, we include payment coupons. We don't want
Include what?
We include payment coupons. So we don't want it to be a burdensome process to have to come in and pay a large tax bill at one time. So we offer the opportunity to break it into smaller payments. And then even when the tax bill is delinquent, if someone calls me and says, I'm having trouble paying my tax bill, the first thing I'm going to do is pre-qualify them for any of the state relief programs. I want to make sure that if they meet any of those qualifications, any of those state programs, that we have them in there. That's going to be step 1 for us, is making sure they're paying their fair share and only their fair share. Even, when the tax is delinquent, I can see how it'd be intimidating to want to call. If I owed the IRS money, it'd be intimidating for me to call them and say, I can't pay. We don't want it to be that way in Durham County. If the tax bill is delinquent, just let us know. And we're going to do our best to work with you to set up a payment arrangement and try to get the bill paid where it's not too burdensome.
Okay, but we haven't created any other programs other than, would you please mention the 3 that we have already in place? And then, I don't think we've created anything else, have we?
We have not. We're working on an analysis that we're going to discuss at the March joint meeting with the city and county.
Okay.
We're looking into other options, seeing what we can do with legal counsel. The what I call the big 3 programs, the 3 most popular programs with residential homeowners. One is the homestead exemption. $31,000. There's more qualifications, but $31,000 or less, and that is household income. If you're single, it's $31,000. If you're married, it's still $31,000, unfortunately. But if you qualify for that program, it knocks half of the property assessment off of the tax records. You only pay on half of the property assessment. The circuit breaker is a little different. It limits the amount of taxes that you pay based on your income. If you make $31,000 or less, then you pay no more than 4% of taxes on whatever your income is. If you make between $31,000 and 150% of that, which I think is around $46,000 or $47,000, then your taxes are limited to 5% of that income. The remainder of the tax bill is deferred. It becomes a lien on the property. If there's a disqualifying event, then the last 3 years of taxes plus interest becomes due and payable. That's why we only have 29 circuit breaker households in Durham County. The last one is disabled veteran. Service-connected disability, it will take off $45,000 from the assessment of a property. Those are, aside from the present use value, which is farmland and other deferment, those are the 3 most popular programs statewide, not just in Durham County.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with the public.
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dwayne. And if people want to get help with how to fill out these applications or whether they're eligible, what is the best way for them to get help with that?
Please contact us, 919-560-0300, and we are almost ready to launch the Property Tax Assistance Evaluator. That'll be online, available 24/7, where the community can go on to our website, and it condenses a multi-page, confusing state application into a few questions. And they can go onto the website at their leisure, answer a few multiple-choice questions, and see if they qualify for any of these 3 most popular programs. We're excited to get out on the website. It'll be great for staff, too. When people call in and mention that they are struggling with a tax bill, that's step 1. We have that qualifier right there that anyone can run through and just make sure that anyone that's qualifying, they're in these programs. We offer that opportunity to them.
Okay, but people will also, in your office, help people sit down and fill out the application and, okay.
We are happy to
Yeah.
go to community organizations and do a presentation and explain this.
Thank you. Because the other thing is we're really trying to get the word out about these programs, that there are more people in our community that are eligible for them than are taking advantage of them. So thank you. Okay, so we are going to, we have, would you like, if you would like to, could you just fill out a form? Okay. 20-0070 through 20-0081 are the items, and then I've pulled 2 of them without 20-0079, 20-0087 have been pulled.
Move the remainder of the items.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Reckow, seconded by Commissioner Howerton. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And those items are approved. Okay, we have, we can either, do you want to do board and commission, or should we just go ahead and address?
Go ahead and address.
Okay, so we'll just take your items of concern. So first, we have Dr. Allison, if you want to come up and state your concerns to any questions related to 20-0079.
Thank you very much. look for something that, because you had informed me when I talked to you about wanting to speak tonight, that I could not speak. And I was so glad to hear that you did allow persons to come and speak. But the item that I'm speaking to, the refund of erroneously paid excise tax to pursuant to North Carolina GS 105-22837. I did some research. I always like to do a little research before I check on anything. And basically, what happens, I checked with the person who could inform me and indicated that that statute 105-228.37 has not even been reviewed since 2011. One of the things I'd like to request, it is statute now that is enacting. We hope that our legal county attorney and a committee, because we have a lot of statutes that are, in fact, we are operating under, that's a waste of time. You all have been a waste of time. The person who had to deal with this is the person, the county register of deeds. It shouldn't have to go through all these hoops to, in fact, refund $600 and some for an error that was made. You get what I'm saying? We're taking up time doing archaic things with archaic statute. So I wanted to report, and it gave me an opportunity to say something for real. But I also wanted to say, and then this thing, I need to have a copy of that thing that you all passed, because this one is not worth 2 cents that you first said. And I'm going to have this interpreted by an attorney to go in that closed session and come up with this and have them say one word. We are talking about racism being investigated, not investigating somebody you hired. I'm talking about investigating those of you who've been having policies. The other thing, I will say something else, but I just wanted to, in fact, we've got to get some of these statutes changed. North Carolina has a terrible statute. They say if we could get that changed, it's been on there, it'll be the 38th person, and you all know what I'm talking about, but I don't want to get into that. I'm requesting that you all, in fact, make a recommendation, because you all meet with the legislatures in Raleigh, right?
We meet with our
Yes,
legislative
and
delegation.
that's one of the things that they've got to start looking at. Statutes that are operating, that are outmoded now, that are wasting time for persons to have to go through this and go through steps. Thank you. That's what I'm dealing with that about.
Okay,
and I have
thank
another
you.
one that I'll come up.
And I'm just a little confused, Dwayne, regarding this statute. Is there something related to this? Okay, Sharon.
Commissioner,
Okay.
that is a statute that deals with my office, the Register of Deeds office.
Okay.
And what happened, an attorney submitted a document to the wrong county. That is not one of the things that we are required by statute to review before we record. So it went through our system. In order for them to get their money back, they have to make that request to the board. That's why we presented that as an agenda item tonight. Now, I can also bring this forward to our association, the North Carolina Register of Deeds Association, to see whether or not that is something that they would pursue as a possible change.
Okay, but she's referring to something being a statute that
She said it is statutory, and the last time this statute was reviewed was in 2011.
Right, but she's saying that it's not a current statute anymore.
It's a current statute, it's just an archaic statute. It's an old statute, and there is a better way of
Oh, I see what you meant by
requesting
archaic.
this
Archaic.
refund, then they
Okay.
have to come to the commission.
Okay, okay, got it. I thought it was expired. Thank you. Got it. Okay.
Thank you.
Now I understand. All right,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, and Mr. Fenner?
Yes.
Okay.
I listened to the gentleman talk about the assessment of taxes, property tax. I'm still trying to wrap my head around, you have 3 programs to tell us how to get our money back, and versus you just doing what's required to do in the very beginning and assess the property tax accordingly. I've never seen anybody property tax double in 1 year. That makes no sense. You can't tell me my property or anybody else's property went from $70,000 up to $180,000 in 1 year. somebody's cheating or something's going on, or you're trying to move people out of certain neighborhoods. Let me be very clear. I've been where I've been since 1994. I'm not going anywhere. You all need to do somebody's property tax that you all are assessing on people, and then try to do some kind of programs to come back and to give them money back on something else. It makes no sense.
So, Mr. Venner, I don't know if you've met with our
I don't need to meet
tax
with him. We'll
department.
meet in Raleigh in the courthouse.
Okay, all right. I don't know, but I would welcome you to reach out to the tax office and sit down with them and go over your specific situation.
Let me add this onto it. Your office did an illegal act. According to North Carolina tax officer in Raleigh, that you are not supposed to go in anyone's bank account and take anything out of their bank for taxes when they've done an appeal process. You all did that. That was an illegal act. You're doing things behind closed doors that you should not be doing. And then you sit up in here with all these programs. Doesn't make any sense. None whatsoever.
Okay, thank you. I encourage you to meet with our tax department. Okay.
Madam Chair, can I speak 1 second on this?
Well, we have to move.
You know what this is? This is problem is they putting up these houses. Gentrification is coming in, taking black people's land. We got the gentrification is poor people moving out, rich white folk coming in. Now that's something that you had to put on there, and I'm going to join with you and help you fight this fight. I'm ready to do it. And see, we have people coming up here speaking out. I'm so glad you stayed. My next question, it deals with...
That's item 200087. Yes, 200087, Board of
87.
Elections contract with South Data.
Now, I'm not, in fact, saying this to complain anything about the executive director of the Board of Election. They have an excellent Board of Election. But on Sunday, we had the privilege of meeting an outstanding black female that came by a site where they had early voting. They had a number of people in there that I thought I knew working. So I said, Senator, let's go in so I can introduce you to some people that may not know you. And I walked in there, and they said, well, you can't come in here. I said, no, I just wanted to speak to the persons who are working there who look like me, and I want them to meet somebody else that can, in fact, break a racial glass ceiling. So I said, call the police. They didn't call the police, they called the executive director. Well, he's a friend of mine. I go to that meeting. I don't ever want to say anything negative about him because they do a fantastic job, Board of Election. But he was, in fact, following a 201 statute. I don't even have the number of it. And he's here because I told him, I said, I'm looking to see what, so I didn't think I was going to be able to speak. But I was going to find something that I was going to speak after you had told me, with that email that you had sent me, that I wasn't going to be able to speak on something that had upset me tremendously. So this, I would have, that statute hadn't been reviewed since 2001. 19 years, and they haven't even been making it work. But he, in fact, did what he thought he was supposed to do based on the statute, because if he done anything wrong, they're going to be after him. You get what I'm saying? Because he's a black man that's in a very important position. So that's the next one that I want us to review and put on that list. And we don't want to wait till you have the next meeting. Everything that I'm talking to you about, even when I said, at this point, I need to have written what you proved before because I didn't understand. And I want a copy of that because this is nothing but another racist approach.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda, oh, actually, we need to approve those two items. Item 20-0079 and 20-0087.
Move approval.
Moved by Commissioner Greco, second by Commissioner Hill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the items are unanimously approved. Next item is board and commission appointments.
I don't know. You know what? How many ones on there? I'm fine with that. I don't. That's fine. I don't know either of them.
You could only vote for one, right? Just vote for one. Thanks, you.
That's like the commission's rates.
Madam Chair, if I could, I requested board members a overview of the feedback that was received on the commuter rail project at the open house over the weekend. We've received a really good summary from the staff. I will forward that to the board so you can see the feedback from that.
And I actually was there. I was at the commuter rail. We had a good turnout. And actually, we're really lucky. Mayor Bell was there, and he is now the chair of the North Carolina Railroad Board. So we're really glad, we're lucky that he's in that position now. And so there's a lot of discussion and questions. And even on that kind of cold morning, glad to see people came out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll forward this to everyone.
Quick question, Manager, what time budget meeting starts tomorrow?
So I think we're having the retreat start at 8:30, yes, and we'll be at the Human Services Complex.
8:30, okay. Mercy.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I've got the results of your votes. For the Board of Health, as dentist, you've selected Roger McDougall. For the veterinarian, you've selected James Miller. For the optometrist, you've selected Robert Rosenstein. And for the nurse, you've selected Victoria Orto. For the Boxing and Wrestling Commission, you've selected Maya Bass. And for the Durham County Women's Commission, you've selected Laura Myers. That concludes your vote.
A question, did I fill out all of for the Public Health Board, did I forget to fill out all of just wondering if I completed my ballot correctly.
I'm not sure this is your signature.
I'm a little concerned that I didn't fill out my whole ballot. Oh, okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry about that. I've done that once before. Thank you. Okay. I would now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Howerton, seconded by Commissioner Reckow. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're unanimously adjourned.